She can bring an entire army to her knees with just a glance. Her beauty, it is legendary, but her power, it's absolutely terrifying. The Mero Mero no Mi is one of the most feared and misunderstood devil fruits in all of One Piece, and it's far more tragic than you might think. Join me in today's newest Everything One Piece Explained video, where we add another addition to the Devil Fruit Handbook, where we take a look at the Love Fruit, its users, its abilities, its strengths and its weaknesses, and uncovering how this fruit isn't just about lust and love, but it's also about power, pain, and the scars of slavery, which is a tragic brilliance to Boa Hancock's character and the devil fruit that truly reflects her soul. So what exactly is the Mero Mero no Mi, or the Love fruit? So the Mero Mero no Mi, also known as the Love fruit, is a paramecia type devil fruit wielded exclusively so far by Boa Hancock, the pirate empress and the captain of the Kuja pirates. It allows her to turn people literally into stone, but with one disturbing condition: the target must feel some form of lust, affection, or admiration towards her. This isn't a hypnosis or paralysis. This is petrification, a complete and often permanent transformation into stone, and it works on almost everyone, from low-level pirates to marines, even on cyborgs. The way in which Boa Hancock got her hands on this devil fruit is pretty heartbreaking, given that she was force-fed this devil fruit by a celestial dragon during that period in time of her life where it was implied that Boa Hancock went through a very rough period of time. To say that that was probably the worst period in her life is a drastic understatement. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the powers and the techniques. Boa Hancock has refined the Love fruit into a terrifying arsenal. Let's go over some of her more iconic techniques. You have the Love Mellow, where she fires off a heart-shaped beam that petrifies anyone with impure thoughts. This is done by making a heart with her hands and shooting the beam at her target. Then you have the Slave Arrow. So she fires off an arrow of love that turns people into stone upon contact. This is done when she blows out a kiss that is bigger than the pistol-sized kiss. And when she pulls back the heart with her hand, hundreds of arrows are shot out to take down mass numbers of targets via petrification if they're struck. Then you get the pistol kiss, where the kiss basically becomes a bullet. Yes, you can think of this like a love kiss, a lethal kiss, a play on the expression that love kills. This is done when she blows a heart-shaped kiss that is really a bullet that is shot off at her target via her index finger, which when used with armament Haki can theoretically do massive amounts of damage. Then you have the perfume femur. This is a devastating close range kick where her enemies turn to stone just by contact with her beauty enhanced strikes. This also has the benefit in that the sheer force of the attack will cause whatever's turned to stone to break as well after being hit. Now, Awaken, that's pretty simple. Basically, she blows a kiss at her target that was previously made into stone, which in turn turns them back to their normal state. The sheer versatility of this devil fruit, that's what makes it so terrifying. It's deadly at both close range and long range attacks. And it's because it weaponizes emotion. Even strong Haki users, they can be caught off guard. Now, one interesting thing of note here is that the strength of the devil fruit, it has a few different things where the user can take advantage of. Basically, turning the target into stone on varying levels, ranging from all-out lust and love, from finding the user pretty to thinking that they're cute. Victims turn into complete stone, are unable to remain conscious, and they can be physically damaged until the user releases them, so that makes them very vulnerable. This power can also be used on non-living objects as well, making it even more fearsome, as shown when Boa Hancock used this on some of the cannonballs that were fired. When someone like Blackbeard, one of the most dangerous characters in the series, respects this devil fruit enough that he personally pulls up the Amazon Lily for this devil fruit, that shows you how overpowered it is in the right hands. So we're now going to go into the strengths and the weaknesses of the devil fruit. At first glance, it might seem like the love fruit has no real glaring weaknesses. It only works on people who are attracted to the user, but let's be real. In the world of One Piece, where Boa Hancock is considered to be the most beautiful woman alive, that's hardly a limitation. So the strengths are plentiful. You have instant impactation through emotion. This is even more so dangerous when you realize that the fruit affects both genders, meaning it can stir up feelings of love and lust in anyone from Sanji to Nico Robin. In the hands of someone like Boa Hancock, who is heralded as being a beauty unrivaled by any person in One Piece, it's safe to say she doesn't need much effort when using this power. Another interesting thing to note is that time seems to stop when someone is turned into stone until they are released. They have no memory of what happened between the moment that they returned to stone and the petrification was reversed. Another benefit is that turning people to stone is something only the user who has the devil fruit can undo. So if you kill the user, the next user after them can't reverse the petrification that they themselves did not do. So say if Boa Hancock dies tomorrow and say Shirahoshi gets that devil fruit, Shirahoshi cannot undo any petrification that was done by Boa Hancock. Now, the other thing that it has benefit of is area effect, because you can basically use it for crowd control, and it also bypasses durability. Stone transformations basically ignore physical strength, so it doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're hit, you're hit. She can also use it very creatively. Boa Hancock's martial arts, they incorporate petrification directly, and it doesn't take a very long reading or watching a One Piece to realize that when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, Boa Hancock is extremely talented in this area. Now, in terms of weaknesses, it has no effect on those who are immune to a charm, like say Luffy, basically someone who is pure of heart. And this is almost like a backhanded homage to Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball, where the only people who could ride the Nimbus Cloud were those who are pure of heart. Now, the other thing here is that it also requires some emotional manipulation, because if someone doesn't desire her, then they are safe here. That's one of the reasons why someone like Luffy is immune, because Luffy is just Luffy. The same thing with Chopper. Chopper isn't attracted to Boa Hancock, so he's not immune, but you could argue since Boa Hancock does not care for small animals, that might be why, but both arguments still work. Basically, if you aren't horny like Sanji or blown away at the cuteness of Boa Hancock, then the powers, they can be nullified. The same if there's another distraction caused by other emotions like pain or fear. Another weakness is debatable depending on whether or not you think she is a reliable narrator, but it's stated by Boa Hancock that the devil fruit is useless if it isn't given to someone as equally beautiful as her, which means only someone like Nami or Vivi or Sanji or Reiju are going to be able to use this devil fruit effectively, versus someone like Blackbeard, who has a face that only a mother could love. That would be a useless devil fruit for him. Now we're going to move into why this devil fruit is so feared. The world government doesn't just fear Boa Hancock because she's a warlord. It's because her devil fruit bypasses what you would call traditional strength. It doesn't matter how powerful you are physically. If your heart falters, you are done. Combine that with Haki and speed and Boa Hancock's deadly hand-to-hand combat, and you have a user who can disable entire fleets on her own. That is why the love fruit is so feared. It preys on human weakness, and its user is nothing short of a goddess of death. Now we're going to go even deeper here. We're going to look at why this devil fruit is a reflection of Boa Hancock. This is where it gets very personal and very painful for this character. The love fruit, it isn't just powerful, it's poetic, because it reflects everything about Boa Hancock's tragic past, in my opinion. As a child, Boa Hancock was enslaved by the celestial dragons, who branded her and her sisters as property. She was forcibly fed the love fruit, not as a gift, but likely for entertainment and exploitation. Her body was used, weaponized against her will. That could also be a stand-in for something else if you want to read between the lines. The power to turn others into stone with beauty and lust, it isn't just ironic, it's also her trauma being personified. In a world that ultimately objectified her, Her only defense became weaponizing that objectification. That is why the love fruit is both a curse for her as well as her armor. It is a way to empower her, to have her reclaim power over the very thing that once robbed her of her dignity, which is basically her beauty. But let's go even deeper. Let's look even further at the symbolism and the trauma. So you could argue Boa Hancock's hatred of men, her cold heart, and her arrogance, it all stems from trauma. The love fruit, it forces her to constantly rely on the very gaze that once imprisoned her. That is why, even though she's not one of my favorite characters, even I can look at her and say there's a lot of complex layers to Boa Hancock's character. Yet, when you see her vulnerability around Luffy, the only man who is unaffected by her power, it shows that what she desires isn't domination, but instead, she truly desires genuine affection free from fear or lust. This fruit, it represents her internal conflict. Beauty is both a weapon and is a wound, and that's what makes it one of the most symbolically rich devil fruits in all of One Piece. In conclusion, the Mero Mero no Mi, it's not just dangerous, it's a deeply human devil fruit, and it makes sense. Given the shape looks like a heart, it's a reminder that in the world of One Piece, devil fruits, they aren't just tools. It's actually very brilliant writing what Eiichiro Oda did. Every devil fruit, to an extent, it's a reflection of their soul. From trauma to power, from object to goddess, Boa Hancock turned her curse into a crown. And in doing so, the love fruit became one of the most haunting and beautiful powers in the world of One Piece itself. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. And if you want to see somebody go through One Piece completely unspoiled as a blind review, chapter by chapter from chapter 1, click here on the left for my playlist doing just that. And if you want to see more videos from the Devil Fruit Handbook, click here on the right to check out those videos as well.